Hi, welcome to Training Tip Tuesdays. Today, you're here with Jess Van Koningsveld, and we are going to talk about cat clicker training. You can train your cat, and it's a lot of fun, and your cat can really enjoy it. So, we're going to talk a little bit about it. There's a lot more to learn and to know, and I'll give you some resources at the end on how to do that. But we'll talk a little bit about cat clicker training today. Again, my name is Jess Van Koningsveld. I'm the cat behavior specialist at the Humane Society of Huron Valley, and I do spend a lot of time clicker training cats for various reasons, working on building behaviors, learning new behaviors. Lots of reasons we can clicker train, hoping for lots of results. So let's kind of dig into it, what it can look like. So why should you clicker train your cat? Why can you clicker train your cat? It can help to reduce unwanted behaviors. If you've got behaviors that you're seeing that you'd love to modify, learn to manage, that you'd like to work on, clicker training is a great place to start to modify those behaviors. You can help your cat learn new skills. There's so many things you can train your cat. The next slide, I have a list of a few of those things. There's so many things that our pets can learn, and cats are such capable learners that giving them a chance to do that can really help them out quite a bit. So, and kind of in that vein, we can exercise their mind. We spend a lot of time physically exercising them, playing with them, giving them enrichment and playtime, and making sure that they're getting the interaction that they need. This is just another way to help keep their minds busy, which then helps reduce behaviors that we might be seeing we'd like to change. It's a great way to bond with your cat. Obviously, you're spending time with your cat, and what you're really doing is just reinforcing them for a behavior. And you really can't go wrong when you're clicker training. You may not necessarily see the behavior you're looking for, but you really can't go wrong as far as your interaction with your cat and the time you're spending bonding with them. And getting to know them. So it's a great way to really bond with your cat. And it's a great way to just have fun with your cat. It's something different to do, something fun to try. A lot of people love to train their cats to high five almost as a party trick. And if your cat enjoys it, that is a fantastic way to just have fun with your cat. What skills can you teach your cat? There are so many. Honestly, you really can train your cat to do just about anything you could train a dog to do. There are differences in how they learn and differences in how they execute, but we can train cats to do virtually anything as long as you've got a willing learner. But you can train your cat to sit, stay, or wait. Cats are actually sit is a very easy skill to train a cat, and it's a really useful one, right? So that's a good one to work on. Leave it. You've dropped something on the floor. You don't want your cat to come running after it, and if they do, we don't want them to grab it. So leave it is a wonderful skill to teach. I love go to bed, go to mat. I use go to bed at my house, but if you've got a cat that's a door dasher, training them to go to bed is a really great way for you to be able to get in and out of your house without your cat trying to get through that door. We use target training for a variety of reasons, so many reasons. It's a building block for so many skills. So target training is a great place to start. It's a fantastic skill to work on with your cat. You can teach your cat to be gentle with their paws or with their teeth. If we've got a cat that can be a bit more rambunctious in how they play, training them to be gentle through clicker training obviously can change a relationship for the better. Go to carrier is a huge, huge skill. We would love cats to, on cue, go to their carrier. So that's a huge, fantastic, useful skill. It takes a bit of consistency and time to train that with your cat, but it is a fantastic skill to train. And again, the shaking, shake the paw, giving paw, high five. These are all really fun things to train with your cat. Your cat can have a great time learning them, and you can really surprise your friends and family with your cat that can give paw, give you a high five. But be creative. If your cat displays a behavior that you can capture in some way and reward them for doing, not only, if they've got a behavior that you really enjoy, We can capture that, we can reward them for it, and in that way reinforce them to continue doing that behavior. So there's so many fun things we can train. Just a few thoughts on training cats. You should know that you have already trained your cat. If you've got a feeding time, what happens when you open that can of food? What happens when you fill that bowl? They come running, right? Because they know that something great's about to happen. You trained that. You trained them to do that. If you've got a cat that wakes you up at 5 o'clock in the morning by meowing loudly and jumping on your feet, and you get up and feed them, they have trained you to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and feed them. Um, Lots of folks have trained their cats to come when called. You come home from work and you call their name and they come running and they get lots of love and attention. That's a training moment. You've trained them to come when called. Some cats meow on command. I have a cat who meows on command, and that's because I trained her to do that. It just happened through vocalizing with her. She would walk up to me and start meowing loudly, and I would meow back. And now we have a cue that says big speak. So she meows loudly. And for her, she didn't even need a reinforcer. She just loved that interaction. So lots of cats enjoy that type of thing. You should know that training should always be fun. It should be fun for you and it should be fun for your cat. We want to keep training sessions short. Um, we don't want to spend a half an hour working on a skill where we're both getting frustrated. It should be a short, fun session with your cat each time. So keep that in mind when you're working with them. It's important to remember too that even if you're not perfect in your training, you're interacting with your cat in this really positive, fantastic way that's building trust and confidence and just emboldening your relationship. It's making it stronger. So, even if you're clicking at the wrong time or offering a reward at the wrong time, it's really okay. You're not going to do any damage. Again, we're probably not going to learn a very lasting skill, but that's okay. You're having this great interaction with your cat. So you can't go wrong when you're doing this type of thing with your cat. Where would we start? Well, we would gather some supplies and we'd decide on what we want to work on. So, our supplies are pretty simple. We want a clicker. I really love the red clicker there in the picture is a Karen Pryor clicker. I really love them. It has a smooth sound. They're easy to use. They're easy to hang on to. They've got a wrist. You can hang it off your wrist. They're very easy to find. It's a great clicker to use. But when I'm in a pinch or, if I have a cat that doesn't like the loud sound of the clicker, I'll use a pen, the clicking pen. That is kind of a quieter sound. And it's also something that a lot of cats are more used to seeing in their environment. So sometimes pens can work a little better. You're going to want a treat bag, probably. You may not need it. It depends on how, the delivery works for you. I do like a treat bag. Just like when you're working with a dog, you want to have treats handy when you need them. So I do like a treat pouch. And you're going to want some reinforcers. That's going to be food. It's going to be treats, toys, attention, whatever really motivates your cat. And it's important to remember that we are looking for something that motivates your cat. It probably can't be their dry kibble. It probably needs to be a wet food maybe that they don't get all the time, a treat that they don't get all the time. When I'm working with a cat who's very fearful or I'm having a really hard time finding a motivator, I'll cut up hot dogs very small and give them bits of hot dog, sometimes bits of cheese. Sometimes I do use things that are not part of their typical diet, things that, a veterinarian would not probably be very happy about them having. But when we're training and it's a skill that I need them to learn, I need to find a motivator that really works for them. So as far as the clicker goes, it's important that you just choose the thing that works for you and stick with it. If you're an owner living in a home with one cat and you're the only person training them, it's fine if you decide to use a voice or sound marker over the clicker. You just want to make sure that that same sound is what you use every time. Some folks will use a yes. Some folks will click their tongue. It just depends on what works for you and what your training parameters really look like. So however that works out in your home is going to be fine. It is really important to note, if you mark a behavior, you have to reward. Even if you are clicking at the wrong time, even if, you're just way off in your marking of the behavior, you have to reward. That reward has to be paired with that marker. So with cats, it's not always necessary with dogs, but with cats, we do want to introduce the clicker. It's also called loading the clicker. Because this is kind of a foreign concept for a lot of cats, we do want to introduce the clicker so that they can be used to the sound and delivery and kind of the process of clicker training. So it's pretty simple. You can sit down with your cat in whatever space is comfortable for them and click your clicker and offer a treat. Click the clicker, offer a treat, and just do this consistently until you have a sense that your cat feels comfortable with that process. If you're clicking and uh, they don't seem stressed out by that click, and the treat delivery is going well, and we've got a motivator that they like, you're good to move on. This isn't something you need to do every training session, but when you're just starting out, we've not used a clicker before, we do want to introduce that clicker so that they get used to it. One of my favorites is the nose target. It's a great place to start because it's a behavior that cats offer pretty willingly, and it's a building block for so many other training steps. So, nose target is a great way to start, and it's fairly simple. The cat is just going to touch their nose to your finger or to a target stick. As you can see in the picture, I'm using a pen. Some folks will glue like a cotton ball to a wooden dowel. That's a great target stick. Whatever works, whatever your cat feels comfortable with, that is the thing that you can use. So all I'm looking for is for that cat to touch their nose to my finger. Or the target stick, if that's what you're using. And you can kind of move them around the room a bit, ask for the behavior a foot away, 2 feet away. But every time they touch their nose to your finger, you click immediately and then treat. And if you decide to move 2 feet away and ask for the behavior, when they approach and touch their nose to your finger, you click and you treat. So all we're looking for is for that cat to touch their nose to your finger or the target stick. You click as soon as that happens and you give them a treat. Again, this is a good building block training skill. So I just like to this is very simple. Cats love to offer this. So it's a really great place to start. I also spend a lot of time working with very shy cats. So clicking for eye contact is a super useful skill when you're working with shy cats. So, if you've brought a new cat home or if you're fostering a cat and they're a very shy cat, or even if it's a cat that's just getting used to being there and you don't want to force yourself on them, clicking for eye contact is a great way to build a bond and some trust with that cat. All we are looking for, honestly, is for them to make eye contact with us. As soon as that cat makes eye contact with me, I click and I offer a treat. Um, and, I'll do that until I feel comfortable moving on to the next step, which for me is often trying to touch the cat or move closer into their space. This clicking for eye contact is a fantastic way to reward them for being brave. And it can help you build a relationship with them so that you can eventually pet them. But it is as simple as sitting somewhere nearby that you can see each other. And every time the cat looks at you, makes eye contact with you, you click and you give them a treat as soon as that has happened. So this was a very abbreviated kind of talk about cat clicker training. So I want to make sure you have some resources that you can kind of look to. Jackson Galaxy has an entire program, his cat positive program. So if you just kind of search the internet for Jackson Galaxy cat positive, you're going to come up with a step-by-step guide for giving a high five. That's one of his favorites. So you'll find that on that page. And there's just a really nice step-by-step guide on clicker training cats in general. And Karen Pryor, who's kind of a leader in the clicker training world, has a fantastic cat clicker training program as well. So do a search for just Karen Pryor cat clicker training, and you're going to come up with a ton of fantastic information and exercises you can do with your cat. But in general, if you just do some searches for cat clicker training, you're going to come up with tons and tons of ideas. So the internet is your friend when you're learning to clicker train your cat. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to our next Training Tip Tuesday, and hopefully you all have some fun training your cats. Bye, guys.